We're going to begin the recording, and this is the slide. There we go.
Very good. Thank you so much, Pierre. Welcome, everyone. I appreciate you being here at the session for the CompTIA 2010 update. How many of you are currently working with schools that are CompTIA members? You're teaching CompTIA courses? Members? All right. All from California or somewhere else? Great. Massachusetts. Good. Great to be here. Next slide. What I'm going to do is tell you about several different changes that have occurred at CompTIA or will be occurring in 2010 and share with you some information about our products and our programs, what's going to be happening, and how you can prepare for them and help prepare your students for the different goals that they have in certification. Here's our overview, and feel free, come on in, Grace, feel free to ask questions within the presentation. I've left some time at the end for a wrap-up, but if you have questions, we'll try to address those as we go through so we can keep them fresh. I'm going to talk, first of all, about our Education and Careers program. You do have a handout that I've passed out that deals with information about the program. I'm going to talk about some changes to our membership program that will affect all of you that raised your hands and indicated you were a CompTIA member. I'm going to talk about two of our exams, the A+ exam, which has gone through some transition since last August, and a new exam called Strata that came out also in August, and we've got several different versions of that. I don't have a handout on that one, but I will be happy to mail you a PDF if you send me an email. I just didn't have any with me to bring out. I've got a couple of miscellaneous items I want to talk about related to some activities that will be coming up later in 2010 and then our wrap-up. So, first of all, about CompTIA, I always start off with this because a lot of folks don't know who CompTIA is. I go to different events and trade shows, and then they ask about books that we publish or training that we offer. We're not a training company. We do have a CompTIA Press division that actually sells books under contract. We actually have other companies develop our books, and we have a CompTIA Press line that we release. But we are an advocacy group. We are to the IT industry what the American Medical Association is to the health industry. We are an industry association that represents IT manufacturers, resellers, and educators, in the case of people in this group. And we have offices in 10 different countries. We are active in about 104 different countries throughout the world in terms of delivering certifications. Here in this country, we have an office in Washington, D.C. that deals with public policy issues, does lobbying at Congress on behalf of the IT industry and IT educators. Next slide. All right. So our Education and Careers program, the first handout that I gave you, that was a program that was originally called Jobs Plus. It was launched in, I think, 1997 or 98. And its job was to really assist educational institutions in developing programs that would help train students for careers in the IT industry. And through that, as part of that training, to help them obtain certification as a credential to go along with the degrees and certificates that they were going to be awarded as part of their educational experience. The program has grown from just a few dozen members that first year in the late 90s to over 5,000 worldwide now. The bulk of those members, almost 4,000, are in the U.S., primarily made up of high schools and two-year colleges. We have about 6% of our membership that are four-year schools, and we have about another 6 to 7% that are made up of not-for-profit organizations and government-affiliated organizations that do IT training, or groups like the Job Corps, groups like Goodwill Industries that do training through their own organizations. Now, our membership, this is something that's confused a lot of people over the years. A CompTIA membership is assigned to the organization, not to an individual. You may be a CompTIA certified person, but that doesn't give you a membership in the organization where you have voting rights within our association. So your institution, your school, your college, your high school is the actual member. Then we have one or more member contacts within each organization. Part of our goal is to help the students at your school and also the faculty at your school remove or minimize the financial barrier to obtaining certification. So a couple of the benefits that we offer to CompTIA members are complimentary test vouchers to faculty members who are delivering training relating to a CompTIA certification. So if you're teaching, like the gentleman that was here helping set up the technology this morning, he was a student here at the City College and indicated he's taking courses. The faculty member that's teaching this course could obtain a CompTIA voucher for the Network Plus course he was taking at no cost to him. And we do that every year. It's not something that we limit. If you've got five individuals teaching courses related to CompTIA, we'll provide them test vouchers so they can obtain certification. We feel it's a very high credibility issue. We want the instructors in the classroom to have the certification that they're actually teaching. The other thing we do is we provide partnership opportunities, and you also have a handout that's primarily colored blue and white on Pearson VUE. And Pearson VUE is one of our partners. As many of you know, we have two organizations that provide CompTIA testing throughout the United States and around the world. One of them is Prometric, the other is Pearson VUE. And Pearson VUE has partnered with us in a special arrangement to provide a no-cost test center facility at your campus. And information is on this handout. I'll answer some questions about this near the end of our presentation, but we welcome you to contact Sandy Major, whose name is on the handout, to discuss having a test center at your campus if necessary. We feel it's a great service to offer to your students, in particular in the high school world, which I know doesn't affect most of you folks, but it's very difficult for a high school instructor to get a student certified if they don't have a test center on campus because they've got to make transportation arrangements. They've got to bus students to the nearest test center. Most test centers only have a few seats, so you've got a class of 20 students. It's difficult to get them all tested on a timely basis. So, next slide, please. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is our membership program. And again, how many people indicated your schools were members? Almost everyone, I think, in the room, right? Okay. All right, if you're a CompTIA member, in 2010, you will cease to be a CompTIA member. And I want to explain why that's happening. CompTIA was originally founded almost 30 years ago with a mission to represent members of the IT industry. And primarily that's hardware and software manufacturers and resellers. We've extended that mission over the years to include affiliated organizations like publishers, like educators, like organizations that have some kind of supporting role to the technology industry. And in 2009, a decision was made to review that and go back to our core mission of representing people or representing organizations that were actually part of the IT industry. So we are changing our membership program to include only those organizations, and other companies that have previously been what we call associate members, like schools, will now become part of our CompTIA Authorized Partner Program. So it's really a transition in name only, but there will be a couple of changes that will be happening. So we'll have what we're calling CAPP internally, but the CompTIA Authorized Partner Program will be organized around business roles. So we'll have a content provider, we'll have delivery partners like companies that do training, and then we're separating training companies and education because we feel, and I feel strongly, that they are different. Education will be CompTIA Authorized Partner-Education. So when your membership is up for renewal, if that happens anytime after March 1, you'll be automatically converted into the CompTIA Authorized Partner Program. Nothing will need to be done. And in fact, what you'll see is there will be some changes. Right now we charge post-secondary institutions $890 a year. Those fees will actually be reduced by approximately half. So we don't have the final fee structure, but as I indicated here on the slide at the bottom, a new fee structure will be announced that will lower the annual dues for almost all CompTIA members in the education category. And they will become CompTIA partners at that point.
Do you have high school that are CompTIA members, or is it more junior college and so?
Absolutely, we have high schools. Out of our 5,000 plus members, I'll go back to the U.S. only, just right around 4,000 in the U.S., about 45% of those are post-secondary institutions, and I mentioned about 6% were 4-year, the remaining being 2-year schools. The rest of them are high schools. And what we find, and just little statistical information for you, we find that at community colleges, two-year schools, technical colleges, we'll have a classroom of, say, 20, 25 students that are taking an A+ class or a Network Plus class or Security Plus class. The majority, if we have fewer schools, but more students within each class will actually attempt the certification test. At a high school, we'll have a class of 20 or 25 students. We'll have maybe 2 or 3 that will take the certification test. We do have some schools that require it at both secondary and post-secondary level. But on average, we have about, much as my estimate from 7 years of experience with CompTIA, about 15% of people who attempt a CompTIA class at a secondary or post-secondary institution that is a member will actually attempt the certification. Yeah, questions?
Is the membership by site? For example, we have a college that has 2 different geographical sites where they host classes there. Can you host it?
Yes, I'm going to repeat the question and tell me if I get it right. Is the membership fee based on a per site? In general, yes. And we have umbrella memberships for organizations that have multiple sites. For example, Heald College here, based in San Francisco, has campuses 9 or 10 in California, Oregon, and Hawaii. We furnish them with an umbrella membership that takes that $890, and for a flat fee, they can bring on as many campuses as they want.
What about a relationship between a community college and their high schools in the community, like, you know,
tech partnerships, things like that?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, we've had several different things that have happened that way. It sort of depends on the academic arrangement that you have. For example, we have a lot of schools that are doing dual credit where the course that they're taking at the high school is actually a course that's in your catalog at the campus. And if we don't want to double charge organizations, so if you have an arrangement like that, the best person to call at CompTIA is me. We'll work out something so that a high school isn't paying for a membership, but really is something that the college should pay for, or vice versa. You know, we've seen that. Right. Okay. Other questions before I move on? Okay. Our education, let me stay on the slide one more second. Our education partner program is scheduled to launch within the first quarter of 2010. Probably around the 1st of March, you'll see some announcements. If you're already a member, you'll see announcements that will go out. The reason I mentioned that will come up in just a minute because there's a February 28th date that we all want to be sensitive to, and I'll explain what that means in a minute. All right, I want to move on to the next handout that you have on the A+ certification. How many of you are A+ certified? Just curious. 3, 4? Okay, great. When did you get A+ certified, sir?
Probably 1998.
Okay. And in 1998, so you probably took the 1997 version of the test. It was updated again in 2000, 2003, 2006, 2009. So about every 3 years, we update the A+ exam. And that was on sort of an approximate schedule for a long time, but in 2005 we formalized that because we've taken our A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus exams, and we've got them certified through the International Standards Organization, so they're ISO certified exams now. And to maintain that certification with ISO, we have to come up with a scheduled update transition so that in the case of A+, every 3 years the A+ exam will be revised and a new release will come out. So you saw that in September of 2006, the A+ exam was revised. On August 5th of 2009, a new A+ exam was revised. And they will be named by year now. So if you're going to be talking about A+ 2009, 2006, I'll explain why. But with our ISO accreditation, we're required now, per our agreement with them, to update every 3 years. And the changes can be content-based or structural. And I'll explain what I mean by that in just a second. But number one, we want to update the technology to make sure that the exam is current and relevant to what's out in technology now. In 2006, our exam came out. A lot of people were anticipating questions about Microsoft's Vista operating system. Of course, it was released the following month. So our exam did not quite overlap the Vista release, and some people say that's great, we don't care. Other people say, we wish you would have had Vista on there. The 2009 exam, of course, came out and just missed the Windows 7 release, so we need to talk more to Microsoft, I guess, maybe, to keep things together. But we've updated our competencies, updated our objectives, and in this case, as we did in 2006, we've updated the structure of the exam. So if I could call your attention to the handout I gave you. Has anyone taken or been certified in the 2006 release of A+? Okay. In 2006, we came out with a structure of the exam that focused on job roles. And we had two, as you know, A+ was traditionally an A+ hardware exam and an A+ operating systems exam. People call them hardware and software. 2 exams equal the certification. You had to pass both exams. In 2006, we came up with one focused on job roles that said, let's have an A+ Essentials exam that everybody has to take, and then let's have a second exam that's focused more around a job role or an occupational mission. So we had a job role called IT Technician. IT Technician plus A+ Essentials equals A+ certification. Our second one was A+ Remote Support Technician, which was more of a person who was going to be working remotely, not someone who was going around servicing computers to the desktop in person. And then we had a depot technician. It was really that person that was in the back room in a manufacturing or heavy support role doing repairs outside of the contact with, outside of direct contact with customers. We found that overwhelmingly the test that was being taken by 90+% of people who obtained A+ certification since September of 2006 was the IT technician. In other words, depot technician was not being utilized, remote support technician was being utilized a little bit more, but not extensively. Part of our inclusion of the objectives in those 3 technician level exams were objectives related around customer service and soft skills. We wanted people to understand that if they were servicing a computer on this gentleman's desk and happened to run across his 2004 tax return, they didn't make a copy of it, or they didn't copy his and his wife's social security numbers and publish them on the internet or steal their identities. There were ethical questions, there were security questions, there were all kinds of other things related to those kinds of things, as well as customer service issues. How do you treat customers and so on. We took those questions directly from demands from the IT industry that said, it's not okay to train someone who's highly technical but a complete goofball when they relate to people. We couldn't have people like that servicing their customers. Now, in 2009, based upon the feedback we got from people who took the test, you see on the handout here, we've now come out with a 2006 test, and it has a couple of different goals. The IT Essentials exam is still there. But now we have one called practical applications. And a lot of times people think of the word applications and they think Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, those kinds of things. But it's really the application of technology within the scope of PC repair and diagnostics. So that's where the word practical applications. So now we're back to a 2-test, or we still have a 2-test A+ certification, but there are no more 3rd and 4th options. Now, having said that, the A+ exam that was created and released in 2006 is still available and will be available to the general public worldwide until February 28, 2010. Okay? That's right. Pierre's watching, he's listening, so he knows that I've got up here August 31. All right. The reason I've got a different date here, and the reason I've got the big red, please take note of the above dates, is if you are an academic member, soon to be an academic partner of CompTIA, you have a 6-month extension. So from March 1 through August 31, your students, if you are a member, /partner, will still be able to take and register for the A+ exam. But that only applies to partners within the CompTIA Authorized Partner Program /education. Okay? So if your school is not a member and you've launched an A+ test, an A+ course in September, and in May those students are going to finish, and they're going to expect to take the 2006 exam based upon the course that you're teaching them, it will not be available after February 28th. I'm going to let that sink in for a second. If any questions you may have.
Is there any textbook available for 2009? Because I haven't seen my book yet. I'm looking at a lot of websites. They keep saying the books are available, but I didn't see 702 textbooks.
Okay, yeah, the question is, are there books available for the 2009 objectives for the 701 and 702 exams? The answer is yes. Now, I haven't gotten my copies of them, but I know that Dr. Jean Andrews, who I believe is here tomorrow, I'm sure she'll be talking about her book. I thought that was released in November or early
I
December.
sent a request. They said they're going to mail it to me in December, and as of yesterday, I still haven't got a copy yet.
We'll talk to Dr. Andrews tomorrow.
And the last
come with me. So this guy, I want to talk to you. And then Mike Myers, who is, both Mike Myers and Dr. Andrews were at our CompTIA conference in August when the new A+ was released, and they both said they would have books available by the end of the year. Has anyone else received a 2009 objective book? Yeah, unfortunately, I've represented the academic interest at CompTIA since 2003. I came from a 17-year career in the community college system in Indiana. So I've taught these courses in Cisco and Microsoft and many others. But when I came to work for CompTIA, part of my role was to be an advocate for education. So using my experience in that world. And unfortunately, there are some things, because education is a very small part of CompTIA's total business, there are some things that I can't make happen in terms of when these dates occur, and unfortunately they're always going to occur probably in the summer or early fall, right about the time you've just launched a course in your fall semester. So there's always going to be this awkward transition period in 2012 and 2015 and 2018. So we just want to make sure that we have a mechanism to give you an extension through the following summer.
I got one question. When you go register to take the test, how are you going to find out, for example, you went to the Cisco Academy to get your training because then you have an extension to August 31st versus you just took the course by yourself on your site? I mean, what kind of proof they need?
Okay, I'll repeat your question. The question is how, when you register for the test at a Prometric or a Pearson VUE Test Center, how will you be able to validate that you are a bona fide person from an academic institution taking the test? Is that correct? The answer is the E2C program and our relationship with the Cisco Academy is for academic members only, and it's voucher only. So I'll give you an example with the Cisco Academy, first of all. The students at Cisco Academies, we have a list of those academies. Your students, you're an academy?
But I don't teach them CompTIA and Cisco.
Okay. Well, some of the Cisco Academy students, they have to register online for a coupon, so we have made an agreement with Cisco that they are validating up front that those are bona fide students at Cisco Academies. So when they register for a coupon, they have to go through the Cisco training portal. If they do that, we're not going to ask any questions because Cisco has validated it. If you are a member, like you said your school is a member, okay, your school, in order to get the lowest price for the exam, which is published on the back of the Education and Careers Membership Program handout that I gave you, in order to get this set of prices, the E2C vouchers it's a voucher-only program. You have to purchase the vouchers in advance and distribute them to your students. So they get a special coupon number that is valid for the $74 price. That's how we know. Because we're going to sell those to your school. Remember I said your school is the member, and then we are going to trust you, our honest members, to distribute those only to your students or faculty or employees. So you can't just walk into a test center and say, hi, I'm a student at City College of San Francisco, and I want the $74 price.
Now, how do we find out if our school is a member?
317-456-ALAN-2526. You like that?
I like that. What is the business card?
Yeah, just call me, and I actually have my laptop here today. I can validate if your school's in our membership list, and if not, I'll tell you how to get there. If you're considering membership, you folks are all what we call this gap period. We're going to announce our membership program with our new fees. If you're not a member right now, please hold off through like the first quarter of the year because fees are going to go down. Don't join now for $890. Wait, and it's going to be about $450, $500 to join. Question?
Are there any rules for the vouchers? Because I know one of the things is...
Are you kidding me? Are there any rules?
No, as far as how schools deal with these. Because, for example, many schools cannot pay for students to take the exams. And so is there any problem with like a resale quote through the bookstore that allows students who have been in the course to be able to pay for those? Because I mean, with budget cuts, that was one of the first things to go.
Let me see if I can restate the question. I'll jump into it in a second here. Okay, your question is, are the schools actually paying for the exams? Is that part of the question? I mean,
the process. Can I come in here because I have been struggling with this for years, and ultimately I talk to students and I say, are you going to reimburse me? I take my credit card, I call you or somebody, get the numbers, pay you, and they give me a check. That's the only way. It's not very awkward. The school doesn't like to do this.
How many years have you done that?
For 5 years.
You've almost got it right. In fact, in the 6th year, I'm going to show you how to get it right, so don't worry about it anymore. Here's what we recommend. Number one, your schools all sell all kinds of things to students that they require in the academic process. You mentioned the bookstore.
Right.
It's okay to have the bookstore order the exams and have your students go in and purchase them just like a textbook, just like a lab coat or a welding rod or any other supply that they're required for their course at your school. Perfectly fine. The problem that we run into with bookstores is that, as you know, most bookstore managers came from pirate school. They all, they have high margin needs on all of their products. They want to charge you a 35% upgrade or upcharge from textbooks and so on. I have a daughter in community college, $161 for an econ book last Friday. That's nice. Hopefully she'll read it. If not, I'm going to. Just to learn why I paid $161.
By Amazon.com.
Yeah. The price list we have here, I'm going to run out of time if I use all the jokes, right? I'm 25. Okay, I think we're good. The price list that you see here on the back of the Education and Careers membership document, if your bookstore is willing to charge this price for the exam voucher, we have no objection to them charging some kind of servicing fee, as long as on the receipt it says test voucher $74, screw charge from the bookstore $10.
But see, what I'm hoping is you have a thing that basically says they're not allowed to charge more because then the bookstore has to.
And I can give you that verbiage because it's actually part of our membership agreement with you. If your bookstore is unaware of that, we need to make sure that, because in some cases we actually have, like at Valencia College in Florida, in Orange County, the bookstore is the member. Okay, so I want to get back to how you're doing it because you're doing it the way I used to do it when I was teaching. What you want to make sure that your students do, as they would with the bookstore, is pay for the product up front. And then once you receive their money and you've got it safely in your checking account and all the checks have cleared, then it's time to pull out your Visa card. You don't do that. You don't do that. You order them on the day. We're going to help you out here. Yes, sir.
Are there any expiration dates on the vouchers?
Every voucher has an expiration date of 365 days.
Okay, and with the bookstore, some get reimbursed for the ones that they not sell, or that was a problem. I know.
And see, it shouldn't be because the bookstore should never.
Similar to Pierre's, where the instructor had to sort of front.
Yeah, let me address that. There's the question is, what happens with the expiration date of the test vouchers if you exceed that? Number one, we can give you a 30-day extension. If you call us and say, I've got some vouchers expiring on January 20th, can you extend them? I can give you a 30-day extension on those exam vouchers. But I need to know about 2 weeks ahead of time. If you call me on the 19th, they're going to expire.
Would it be good customer service to reimburse the partner?
No, it would not. No, what would be is good planning on the part of the partner, because there's no minimum voucher order required. You can order 1 voucher, or you can order 50 vouchers. So the bookstore should never carry an inventory. Well, I can document this to you. What's that?
Just say you're dealing with students.
But they're supposed to be smart, right? We're supposed to be educating them in the ways of the world. Now, what I want to do is, I hear these kinds of problems whenever I go to a conference, and I want to help you solve them. So I've actually developed different mechanisms for this. For example, when a student goes into the bookstore, trying to think of one of the colleges that uses a mechanism like this. There's one in the south in Mississippi, and I cannot think of the name of the school. But they actually go in and they buy a certificate that is redeemable for a voucher. So they go in, they pay their $74 plus whatever the bookstore charges them. They get their certificate, and they can do that when they buy their books on the first part of the semester. And then near the end of the semester, when they're ready to take a test, the bookstore knows how many of those they've sold. They order. You can get the order processed, they ask you to allow 2 business days. So if you order some tests this morning, you probably have them Friday or Monday at the latest, generally speaking. That's, if you've got an account with the test company or if you have a credit card order, it's pretty fast. So when the student comes in with their certificate, they redeem that for, so it's like buying a gift card at Macy's or buying a gift card at Outback Steakhouse or anywhere. You've got something that's worth $74. You can hold it for as long as you want. Those can even be held for longer than a year, right? Because it's redeemable for 1 test. So we've got several colleges who use bookstore purchasing and doing that. I want to address kind of the way that Pierre was doing it. How many of you have used eBay or PayPal or some kind of electronic commerce tool like that? Okay, you're a buyer, seller on eBay? You want to hear all about this. But let me give you an example. So what I'm going to tell you is something very familiar. So do you use PayPal to pay for your? Okay. Do you accept PayPal when you sell something?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's an example. We had this situation that a couple of you have referred to at Penn State University in December. We had a new faculty member that came in. I usually don't hear about those kinds of things until someone says, Mr. Stevens left, and I'm the new faculty member, and I should have my name updated on your membership list. Okay, and now I need to order vouchers, and I'm not allowed to do that because I can't handle money, or we can't have the bookstore be responsive at a timely basis, whatever the reason. I said, okay, we're going to help you out. We got a list. They sent me, I said, find out how many students want to take the Project Plus exam. Send me their full name, an email address, and a phone number where they can be reached. And what I did was I went to PayPal. I created an invoice for them for $118, plus I had to add on, because eBay charges you a few dollars to do a transaction. So they actually were billed for $123, 34 students, and we gave them until like 10 days to pay. At the end of that 10 days, 31 of the students had actually sent me a PayPal payment, which they can use their credit or debit cards, or if they have a PayPal account, they can do that. They sent me a payment. I ordered 31 exams on, I think, a Friday. I had them on Monday. I emailed them out to the students. End of story. So I will personally help you do that, so you can make sure that's. But that was that whole transaction. I created a common invoice. I cut and pasted 34 email addresses into the invoice. I would say my actual time on the computer spent delivering that was probably somewhere around 30 to 35 minutes from the time, and that was actually sending out 30-some emails to the students saying, here's your voucher number. Because I put instructions on how to register, kind of pre-formatted email. All I had to do was paste in their voucher number, blast it out. It's a very simple process, just like, I'm an online banker. I like to do online shopping. I go to the BMV online, all those kinds of things just to minimize standing in line and waiting. Question?
Can you send us a PDF on that or something?
Yeah, it's actually a process I've just been working on in 2009, and we're hoping to kind of give more information. It would require you to have your own PayPal account. But we know that you want your students to get certified. We know that you want to help them, but you've got all of these barriers that are procedural through your bookstore, through your administration. There's absolutely no risk to you because in the case of this Penn State situation, I had 31 students times $123 already in my checking account before I pulled out my American Express and called Prometric to order the exams. So that money was, there was no question as to whether I was being paid back. Okay? Totally minimize that. Yeah, I want to move on. I know you've got your finger ready to press that slide, but any questions about this expiration date? If for some reason you find yourself after March 1 wanting to get your students tested on the 2006 version of A+, if your school is teaching that, you will find that it has been retired, except the academic. When I say the academic version, it's not a different test, it's just a different code, pricing code, and only your schools will be able to order it. Contact me, tell your colleagues to contact me if they have any questions.
Just to make sure, if you're a Cisco Academy and you're using their curriculum, which is approved by CompTIA, we also qualify for the discount. And also this expiration date is actually for us as well.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Now, one other thing I want to say about this that isn't quite made as plain as it should be here is, as you know, A+ is a two-test certification, right? You have to have both parts passed, not attempted, by August 31, because on September 1, the A+ exam in all forms and all languages will cease to exist. It will be retired. So if you take the Essentials exam on August 31 and you really meant to get both of them done, but you failed the IT technician, you can't take it on September 1. You will start over, because the 700 series of the exam released in 2009 and the 600 series of the exam released in 2006 are not interchangeable.
And it's $74 back to you.
Yes. Now, here's something that will be announced, I think, on Monday. There's a press release coming out on Monday. I want to give you a quick sneak preview. We're getting into a certification renewal program. Aaron, you said you took your test in 1998?
Or 1989.
Long time ago, okay. 10 or 11, 12 years ago. You're certified for life. That's right. Yeah, you've been certified. CompTIA certifications have always been certification for life, and what we have done is we have depended on those members in the IT industry to say, all right, here, you've got A+ certification. They need to follow up with the question, when did you obtain that? You said 1999. They might say, well, we'd really like to have you take the 2006 or 2009 exam to help us ensure, since you're an applicant for our company, that your skills are current and relevant. Based on the demand of our members, the IT industry, we will be launching in 2010 a certification renewal program that will require you to obtain, I don't like to use the word CEUs, but continuing education during that 3-year span that your certification is active. So if you got certified on April 15th, 2010, your certification would be good through April 14th, 2013. And you would have to, unless you met different continuing certifications that would expire. So details of that are going to be coming out in our newsletter. There's a press release scheduled to go out on Monday of next week. It will contain options for skill updating. Again, we'll still be providing you with complimentary vouchers as instructors, but you will not be exempted from the continuing certification requirement to keep your certification current. And you can actually lose it on an annual basis. So there'll be some things you'll have to kind of document for us every year. We'll send you information about that. It's not going to be terribly rigorous. It's just we're going to do a check, make sure you're still where you need to be. But we're also not just going to give you credit for reading. I read the latest Mike Myers book, or I read the latest Gene Andrews book. If you wrote the latest Mike Myers book, well, yeah, we'll probably update your skills for that. But just want to let you know that's coming out Monday. And any questions you have or your colleagues have, you may call me, and we'll have more details about that in the coming weeks. All right, I'm going to move into our newest test that we've released. We've come out with a test that some people have called a scaled-back A+ test, and it's called Strata. There are actually 3 different versions. There's the newest one that will be out this month, Strata Green IP. There's a technical sales and an entry-level one that's just based on PC concepts. But these tests, we actually aren't calling them certifications because in the certification world there are certain criteria that a test must meet in order to be legally defensible as a certification. In other words, a true test, a high-stakes exam of someone's knowledge and skills. So we are calling this a certificate because it has, Strata does not currently meet the high-stakes requirements that all of our other exams do. But this is something that we've designed, again, based on demands of the IT industry, to kind of give people who are looking for a slightly lower level of information and skills verification, validation, a way to document it. So who should take this exam? People who are new to the IT industry, seeking a new career changers. Students who are new to the job market, they want to have a credential, they're not quite ready for A+, they're not ready for Network+. Professionals who are in technology who have a career maybe in sales, who don't need to know all the technical ins and outs, but they want to have a good, well-rounded, sort of a survey level course for technology. If you're someone who's considering other CompTIA certifications that are actually, I won't say other, but considering CompTIA certifications, and you want to have a place to start out and kind of assess your own knowledge and information. And then other people who are career IT professionals who may want to have some other credential tacked onto their list of credentials that says, yeah, I know something about green IT, or I know something about technology sales. Okay. Go ahead and press the button, please. There we go. Yeah, just press the button. Go ahead and follow these. Go back one. There we go. Okay, so here are the two that are currently available. The IT technology, so these certificate holders will be able to identify hardware and technology basics, compatibility issues, software installation, things that, if you think of it as kind of a consumer level test, not necessarily someone who's going to be servicing computers, but someone who uses them and maybe supports themselves. Some green IT and preventive maintenance issues. Over here in the sales, IT technology for sales, effective customer engagement, how to coordinate things with the technical staff, how to help determine appropriate solutions for technology problems or customer requirements, customer satisfaction, again, just falling off the bottom there, the green IT and preventive maintenance. There we go. The green IT is not out yet. It'll be out in January, I think next week. But this will talk about some of the things that we've all become, more environmentally conscious. But how do you properly dispose of the computer that you take into service? How do you conserve power with your computer? You keep hearing people say you shouldn't keep your computers running all the time, and you shouldn't keep your cell phone charger plugged in. And I know all of you are running upstairs and pulling the plugs out of your power strip, right? How to reduce an organization's carbon footprint, virtualization and how that can save power and computing resources. And then some return on investment calculations that you can use to help calculate or be aware of how you're doing on green IT initiatives. That work? Strata exam is $99. That's an on-the-street price if you walk into a test center this afternoon. If you're a corporate member of CompTIA, the price is $79. But again, academic members get the lowest price in North America, $59. And these exams, unlike our others that are required to be delivered through a Pearson VUE or Prometric Test Center, we will have opportunities later this year for these to be available through the internet. Because they are mid-stakes exams versus high stakes, they don't have to be proctored. So we'll have some opportunities for you to deliver these. So if you do, like I did in my college career, we used to do a lot of non-credit seminars to kind of bring the general public in and get a view of our college and some of our courses. You could do something like this in a 1 or 2 day seminar over a couple of Fridays and have the students test at the end of the second Friday in your classroom via the internet. Study, which when I say 2 days here, that's like 2 classroom 8-hour days. And there's going to be all kinds of different options. We've got NetG and a couple of other companies right now. Element K are working on online courseware. There's books available that are coming out. GTS Learning has a book that they just sent me that has the IT technology.
Can I push back a little bit? A question for you. Are your business partners calling for this? Is there a reason why these are, I'm just curious, because as an educator who has to justify these types of things.
Yeah, and I'm talking about this, so let me repeat your question. Your question is, are the CompTIA business members calling for these types of certificates to be available? And the answer is yes, and they're doing it for a couple of reasons. Having worked in the world that you do for many years, we know that there are certain things that you don't offer as part of your curriculum, as part of your degree curriculum, because it just doesn't fit. And like I mentioned a few minutes ago, these seminars that I used to offer a, gosh, remember this, Lotus 1, 2, 3, you know, for home use, you know, doing a home budget on a Friday seminar, things like that. You know, we just offer those like continuing ed classes. So we see this in the education world as being a continuing ed class. I used to teach at one of the high school programs in my area where I taught a Tuesday night class in IT. Something like that would be very easy for me to utilize at the end of that course. It was just a general PC generalist course. But does the industry believe that IT hardware and software maintenance workers need this? No. They believe IT consumers do.
Well, I guess the reason why I'm asking some of this, I mean, we've done a lot of work with our business partners, and part of the reason with the A+, they don't necessarily even put huge stakes in that test because of the fact that you could have taken it 10 years ago or whatever. I mean, it may be an entry type of thing, and that, but they really want to see application. And they are not necessarily seeing something that can be done in 2 days as something that's meaningful as far as they're concerned. They actually want to see, you know, the capabilities themselves and the performance. So I guess that's part of my question as to how do you start, you know, kind of balancing this, because, yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to, so I want to answer your question, and I'll give you the history of this. This used to be called by a different name, and we actually launched this 2 years ago. Well, yeah, 2 years ago now, in China, because we had a strong demand from China and the UK for courseware that was A+-like, but not with A+ rigor. Because in general, some of the demand we were getting from our Chinese market was, we don't have the hardware and software, the operating systems that are what you have in the US or most of the world. So we need something a little bit less. That's where this originally came from. And then as we did some in the UK as well, as we went forward with you know, telling our board of directors and our membership about this, they said this would be something great for the consumer market. So we don't think this is going to be a great fit in education. I don't. I mean, as a former educator, I don't think this is something. I just want to make you folks aware of it.
Okay.
Because you may have someone come to your test center saying, I want to take a CompTIA Strata exam. You're like, what? So, like I said, I don't think they're going to be doing a lot of courses in this, but we're going to see a lot of demand at the high school level. This will be something that would be great for 8th graders to assess what they need to take when they go into 9th grade. I'm going to go ahead and pass on. Go ahead and skip this. Here's some other CompTIA news. Every year since 2006, the CompTIA Education and Careers Program has been able to launch a separate educator-only track at our annual membership conference, which is called Breakaway. We started doing that in Florida. We go back and forth between Florida and Las Vegas. And this next year, we're going to be moving actually to San Antonio, Texas, August 8th through the 12th. We do a couple of things at this conference. Number one, we have a set of, it's actually 2 full days of about 1-hour sessions designed for educators by educators. So we actually do RFPs and have people from all around the country put in proposal for presentations. But then we also have some type of high-level training that's for the first 2 days of the conference. And we've been really fortunate in the last couple of years that we've been able to secure Mike Myers, who writes one of the leading A+ textbooks, and also Gene Andrews, who writes one of the leading A+ textbooks in the country. And in fact, based on our information, those 2 books account for probably most of the A+ curriculum in high schools and colleges around the country. But I just wanted to let you know about this date, August 8th through 12th, San Antonio, the JW Marriott. If you have questions about it, we're going to have some more information coming out in the next 6 to 7 weeks about some of the sessions. But we've had great participation from educators, and I honestly tell you that the feedback we get from those folks is like, this is the conference that I needed to be at every year. So we've been very pleased with our results. And then the last handout that I gave you, I mentioned testing centers on campus are a great service. It's sort of like a library. You're not going to make a lot of money off a test center. You'll make a few dollars delivering tests. But it doesn't cost you much to operate, especially if you go with Pearson's no-cost model. but it's a great service for your students, and both Pearson VUE and Prometric will work with you to establish one. The cost structure is a little bit different. And if you have questions about that, feel free to call me because I have contacts in both those organizations that will help link you up to. Here are the topics we talked about, and I'll take any questions, and we're down to our last 90 seconds, right?
Sure. A couple of questions. I teach in a community college, and we have a course that we commonly refer to as A+ course or hardware course. And we don't require our students to take the A+ certification, but we would like to. How does an institution like mine become either an education partner or CompTIA Authorized Partner?
Okay.
That's question number one. And the other question is there a special certification for instructors teaching?
Two great questions. Number one, how do you become a member? Number two, do instructors have to have a special designation to teach CompTIA courses? Becoming a member is very easy. You can sign up on the website, CompTIA.org. There's a big link at the top left corner of the screen that says Become a Member. Click there and it will have what criteria you fit under academic institution or educational institution is one of the choices. They will invoice you for the fee. Again, I would hold off until March 1st, and you'll see a slight reduction in your fee. The second question is, our membership program, soon to be our partnership program, is not rigorous in the sense that Microsoft, some of you are Microsoft or Cisco instructors as well. Yeah, you got to get Cisco certification, you have to go through all kinds of training and so on. We're more of a program that provides you with a bundle of benefits and services versus imposing rigorous requirements on you. We encourage you to be certified in Network Plus if that's what you're teaching, but we don't require it. So at some point, will we? I've advocated for that because I've been to the Microsoft, Cisco, Novell, everything program in my career, and I think there's some value in that, but I don't want to cut you off from teaching our courses if you're not certified. So right now there is not a requirement.
Thank you. I think time is up, and I want to thank Alice for a very important appreciation, paper appreciation, and that's great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll be around for a couple minutes if anybody has any questions, so thank you, folks. Here. You're all set up with that's something we're trying to solve that.